Hello, I'm Leah, and this is Tai Chi Chuan 24 form, the beginning, and maybe a little bit of the second part, the sequel. We start with a little bit of a warm-up, and you always have the option to pause the video and to stay a little bit longer with some of these exercises. So we want to make sure that all the little muscles are woken up, a few shoulder rolls, maybe some elbow stirs, moving the arm bones and the shoulder sockets. Maybe taking off your shirt to open the back of your shoulder girdle. Maybe even interlacing the fingers and squeezing behind, but you want to make sure your elbows are still bent. To warm up the spine, we have a few tick-tocks, opening up the sides of the body. We also have a few twists where we keep the pelvis stable, but we move the rib cage to the sides. You just want to make sure that you're not moving below the pelvis. For flexion and extension of the spine, we sit back a little bit so that the knees are still over the ankles, and see, right here, we're not pushing the knees forward, we're sitting with the knees over the ankles. If we squeeze the shoulders and the elbows together, we have an extension of the spine, and if we round the spine, we have flexion, we're opening from the tailbone to the base of the neck. And so we have flexion and extension, we have the side bends, and we have the twists. And of course in Tai Chi we use the legs a lot, so we need to warm these up as well. We start with a few ankle circles in both directions, maybe even starting to play with the balance on both sides. Always do both sides. If you have more difficulty on one side than on the other side, sometimes what I do with the side that's a little bit harder, I start, I do the other side, and then I do the hard one again, and that will help me to even out the imbalances in my body. So we did the ankles a little bit. Here are a few knee stirs, just getting a feel for the weight shift in the feet and starting to move the thigh bones in the hip sockets. Another movement of the thigh bone in the hip socket is to have the inward rotation and the outward rotation, warming up the muscles of the inner and outer leg, and again starting a little bit with the balance. Outward rotation, open the quad, inward rotation, moving the thigh bone in the hip socket, and eventually we might also move the whole body on the thigh. So here is my inward rotation. I am looking a little bit into one corner, and here is the outward rotation. I am looking nearly in the opposite direction. And here is the inward rotation, the outward rotation, and again doing it on both sides. Outward rotation, inward, squat area and the knock knee area. And so now we have pretty much warmed up from head to toe. We still need to do a little bit for our hands. So some wrist circles and some finger curls, and that is a little bit harder to see. So here are my finger curls, maybe some taps, tapping the fingers. And here is the Tai Chi hook. So the Tai Chi hook has all four fingers touching the thumb, and we have this bend in the wrist. And then the other arm will do a little bit other things. So here is my Tai Chi hook. And to warm up the muscles of the forearm, here are my little bird pecs. And then we start pushing the hands forward and dripping the fingers down. And you want to make sure you're not bending the fingers against the palm of the hand. When we push, the fingers are standing, and when we drip, the fingers are just hanging down from the hand bones. Push and drip, push and drip. And that brings us to a beginning of a Tai Chi movement. So when we stand nice and tall, like we did when we do breathing, with the weight distributed evenly, and the feet and the knees soft but straight, and the spine tall with the shoulders over the hips, we take a breath in, and we allow the wrists to float up with the fingers trailing, and then we allow the wrists to float back down with the fingers standing. And this is our first movement, our opening form. And I often do this to sort of start coordination of movement to the breath. And then from there, we can change slightly the movement. Here is from the Qigong practice, sinking the Qi. So we have both arms float up. I'm pointing my hands towards the two corners. And then with the exhale, I sink the Qi down through my midline. And sinking the Qi is a circular motion where opening form was a linear motion. And when we do this circular motion, we can also do it with alternate arms. So when I have my left palm float up and start to fold, as it floats down, my right palm floats up. And the other side, and you notice I'm starting to add a little bit of a twist, and that increases the perception of the range of motion. So I have my hand that crosses my body, go down from the shoulder to the hip, and then when I go to the other side, that hand is way out in the corner, and my next hand that crosses my body way out is from the shoulder to the hip. And this movement would be our reeling in, that we use a lot in the form as a transition between our movements. And when we do a class in person, we add to that a side step. So when my cross hand is low, I step a bit to the side, I shift into that foot, and here is my other foot step in and the reeling in motion. And as I do this only to one side, you notice I am moving across the screen. I think I can do one more before I am stepping out completely. And so then we come to that point where we have the right hand on top, the left hand on the bottom. This would be our embracing the moon shape. We will encounter that in our form a lot. From our embracing the moon, we can reverse the direction of our reeling motion. So I have my cross hand float up from the hip to the shoulder, and the other hand float down. And I have that same movement of the spine, of the ribs, to bring my bottom hand to the hip and my top hand way out. I turn the hand away, and as my thumb floats up, my palm of the hand pushes back down. And then I go back to my first side. And so this would be reeling out, because what I have in my dantian, I lift it up, I gather it all in, and then I disperse it into the world. Just like reeling in came with side steps, reeling out comes with side steps, and this time we go towards the left. We have the left foot step, and after my little shift and twist, the right foot step in. And here you are performing movement number 10, wave hands like clouds. Yes, this is already in the middle of our Tai Chi practice, even though we are still warming up. Yeah? And eventually we will end up with our left hand on top, right hand below, and we can reel out with both hands together. Here is that in the distance to the corners, we let the palms of the hands float down. Thumbs lift up, we push out, and we float back down. And this is actually a modified part of closing. For closing, we would actually reel out, push away, cross hands, reach to the front with the palms still facing upward, and then as we let the palms face down, we open to about shoulder height, and here is that same motion that we did when we did opening form. Yeah? Here is opening form, breath in and breath out, and here is closing form. Cross hands, cross and reach, and closing. And so we have already done quite a bit of arm work, and a reminder for those of you who've worked with me, who have practiced with me, or for those of you who are joining for the first time, the starting element, the basic element, the basic arm shape is embracing the moon. The movements are usually with both arms. Sometimes they do sort of the same thing but the opposite direction, like here would be parting the horse's mane. My right hand floats down, my left hand floats up, and I make a new moon. Yeah? The left hand floats down, the right hand floats up. Here is the new moon. But sometimes we have different movement. For example, we have a hook with one hand and a reeling motion with the other hand. Here is that push. Again, it is a hook and a reeling motion and a push. You know, doing a video is a little bit different than in the class. In the class, I would just turn around and everybody follows me along and can see me in the mirrors. We don't have a mirror here. So I have practiced doing it sideways, and there should be a clip on the Mountain Park website. But for today, I wanted to give you an opportunity to follow along. So I will show you my backside. Not very polite, but that way my right side is your right side, left side, and we are moving in the same direction, which means away from the camera. And we will start with the footwork. So when I stand square facing the fireplace, weight on both legs, and that would be our middle position. When we face the right corner, usually the body is oriented to the right, or at least the right leg would be oriented to the right, and the left thigh is turned out. This is called the T-stance. If the foot were flat on the floor, my footprints in the sand would look like a capital T. So here is my T-stance. From here, I move until I am in a new T-stance on the left side, all my weight on the left with my body oriented to the left corner and my thigh turned out. The transition from one T-stance to the other T-stance, that is the Tai Chi practice. The movement we do most is a bow stance. And in the bow stance, I still have my back leg facing the corner that I came from, but with the rest of my body, the other foot, which is a little bit in front, the knee over the ankle, I square off my pelvis, I have a straight spine, I square off my shoulders, My ears are over the shoulders. This is a bow stance. The front knee is a little bent, the back leg is straight, and the secret is to push back into the heel. So I am not really aiming to go forward. I am aiming to stay solid in both feet. There is a little bit of weight, a little bit more weight in the front foot than in the back foot, but I am not, here with my little dancer step. I am solid in both feet, maybe 60%, 40%, maybe 17-30, but definitely a lot of weight and especially pushing back into the heel. And from there, we actually do rock back completely into that back foot. We keep the heel connected, but we lift the toes. And here is that rotation again, because we want to go to the corner to make a new T stance. And here would be my T stance. Here would be the aiming the heel kitty corner. So when I rock forward only 60%, pushing back into the heel, that is my anchor, right? That is my drive, my engine. I push back into the heel. I have space between my heels in the width. My right foot is still under my right hip. My left foot is under the left hip. I am not on a tight rope. And my right side is still in the corner, but my left side is now square to the fireplace. And I can rock back, emptying out that front foot completely. I could lift my heel up if I wanted to. If you cannot lift your heel up, oftentimes it is because on that initial step, you were too far out. And then when you rock back, you're not empty in the front. So see, now I am stuck. Ooh. So this aiming helps to figure out your range of motion. It might be a little bit smaller, or if your thighs are really strong, you might have a little bit more range of motion. And then you rock square, you rock back. Here comes that outward rotation, open the quad, and our new T stance. And our next transition would be, we start with the heel tap. Oh yeah, I am in control. It's not the movement that controls me. I am in control of the movement. Here is my bow stance. Square of the pelvis. Space between my heels in the width. Space between my feet in the length. Square. And then from there, the different, instead of rocking back and turning my thigh out, I can step in a little bit, rock all the way back, and here would be an empty step. An empty step is all the weight on the leg, empty on the toes, empty on the heel, or empty with a knee lift. And the empty step comes on the other side as well. Actually, most of the time, our empty step would be when we start going to the left. So here is my T stance. Let me back up a little so you can see my feet a little better. Here is my aiming. Here is my bow stance, square off. And here is my half a step in, all the way back into the back foot, and I empty out the front onto the toes, onto the heel, or with a high knee. And we do use most of these empty steps. Most of them are the one on the toe where the left leg is empty, but we also have the high knee on both sides in the second part of the floor. So now, I guess it's time to try and put a few things together. I'll try to go a little bit at an angle so that maybe you can also see what my arms are doing, and of course I will talk you through it. So we start with the toes close together, the heels a little apart, the knees a little bit soft, the spine nice and tall, and the arms relaxed. We should start with some breathing, so we focus on the breath by taking that nice big breath in through the nose all the way into the bottom of the pelvic bowl and filling up the belly and the ribs and the chest and even the cavities of the head. And then in turn, as we exhale, we empty out completely. Now, in a normal class where we meet in person, we would actually start with the breathing and spend quite a lot of time, 5 to 10 minutes, on just focusing on the breath. But for today, just try to make the breath slow and long and deep. And then we begin with sinking the chi. The breath in allows the arms to float up to the corners, and with the exhale, the fingertips close together, but the arms float down in front of the body. Our first movement, opening form. The left foot steps to about shoulder width to the left. We center in both feet. The wrists float up with the fingertips trailing on the inhale. With the exhale, and the palms float back down. Then we make our first T-stance. T-stance on the right hand on top, embracing the moon. And we aim the heel to the kitty corner. We rock forward into that bow stance. We square off the pelvis, and parting the horse's mane has my right hand diagonally floating down to my left hip, and my left hand from my right hip floating up diagonally to about shoulder height. I look at the palm of my hand, parting the horse's mane. You can leave your arms just as they are as you rock back. Here is that turnout to get me into the left corner, into a new T-stance, and I make my embracing the moon on the left side. Parting the horse's mane is a good one because now I don't need to think too hard about how we go on. I aim my heel to make a bow stance to the right. You notice my right foot is straight forward to the fireplace. My left foot is still at the angle. I have that space in the width. And for parting the horse's mane, my left hand comes down to the left hip, my right hand to the shoulder. Rock back, turn out to the right. Here is my new T-stance, all the weight on my right foot, and my new embracing the moon. One more time, we make that bow stance with the parting the horse's mane, 2 diagonal movements, but this time we step in that half step, all the weight into the right foot, and we tap the left toes. And a different movement for wide crane spreads wings. My left palm floats down across the body and helps to lift up my right wing. Then it floats down again. Wide crane spreads wings, left hand down, right hand, kind of, instead of looking at the palm is oriented sideways. And then I prepare for the next movement with a reeling in motion. And the right hand floats to the left hip, the left hand up, twist. The left hand floats to the right hip and the right hand up. And here would be my embracing the moon, right hand on top, a new T-stance, and a bow stance, aim, rock square. My left palm turns down, and the thumb brushes over the thigh. Yeah? thumb brushes over the thigh to get my hand to the left. And with the right hand, I just push straight out forward as if I am pushing somebody into the chest. Brush knee and push, our movement number 4. It comes again with the rock back, the new T stance in the left corner this time. And when I am standing on the left foot, I need to reel in one time to get my left hand back on top for embracing the moon. And then from there, here is my new aim, bow stance, square off, brush my right thumb over the right thigh, and push forward with the left hand. One more time, rock back, turn to the corner, shift into a new T stance, reeling in to make a embracing the moon on the right side. And here is my third time, aim, rock square, brush with left, push with right, and the empty step change again. That was the half step in. And this time, we're actually tapping only the heel. Our upper body, my right hand pulls back at the same time that my left hand pushes forward, like I am holding a bow and pulling the bowstring. And then I squeeze my right hand to my left elbow. So if I show you sideways, we had brush knee and push, half a step in, holding the bow, pulling the string, and then squeezing the right hand to the left elbow, play the pipa. I need to go back there because from here, play the pipa, we start moving backward. So I open myself to the right side and I spread my arms apart, and with the right hand, I start pushing along my left arm, and at the same time, my left foot steps to the left corner behind. You see how I have space between my feet. I empty out, and here is the empty step, standing on the left foot with the right toes tapping. And I do the same thing. The left hand starts pushing forward. Here is that twist to square myself off. The step with the right foot into the right corner, emptying out the left. Step back, repulse monkey. Here is the second time I step onto the left. And I repulse the monkey. When I repulse with left hand, I step onto the right. And when I push with right, here is my third time stepping onto the left. And one more time, stepping onto the right foot, empty step. And a new T stance, embracing the moon, right hand on top. For movement number 7, which is grasp the bird's tail, is one of the most beautiful ones. It's the same bow stance we have done before. Aim, rock square, and it starts off with those 2 diagonal lines, but then the right hand floats back up, and it's as if I am holding an invisible ball between both my hands. I turn my hand so the left hand is on top, the right hand holds the ball, the left hand makes sure it doesn't fall off, and this time I just rock back and I pull the peacock's tail to my right hip. Now from there, I let my right hand just make a loop, and with my fingers crossed, my hands crossed in this very weird way. It's like I am clapping, but my right thumb starts pointing down. And then with the right hand, I can push forward again, even as I shift into the front foot into a bow stance. Then I place my palms downward, separate my hands shoulder width apart. I rock back all the way into my right foot, and here is that sweeping motion. And one more time we push, grasp the bird's tail. Now here comes a weird one. Double weight shift. I rock into the right foot, and remember where we practiced the inward rotation? Except for this time, I actually rock into the left foot. I empty out all the weight from my right foot, and I just keep going in the same clockwise direction until I am in a new T-stance with the left hand on top. So now, I'm not really square, so I do a little cheat. We usually do that in class too. And now you get to see me face to face for grasp the bird's tail on the right side. T-stance on the left, left hand on top. Aim. Rock square. Ward off. And the left hand sweeps up. I turn my palms, right hand on top. Pull to the left hip. I make that loop with the left palm on the right palm, where the palms of the hands are facing each other. I rock forward again, and I push. Here is palms turned down, separate, rock back, loop down, push, and we return into the direction we started in. So here I sit back, inward rotation with both legs, rock into the right foot, empty out the left foot, and I keep turning and sweeping, left leg, left hand, T-stance on the right, right hand on top, ready for movement 9. Movement 9 has that hook with the right hand. It still has a bow stance, and the left hand reels out, so it lifts up to the right shoulder, sweeps, and I push. But now I have that same double weight shift transition we just did, but only small. I rock back, and I make my toes point towards what would be your right, I guess. I step together, and I start reeling out. So my right hand undoes the hook, starts reeling down. You notice left hand is still high, right hand is down. I twist, and reeling out means right hand rises, left hand sinks. I twist to the right, and when my left hand is up, I step to the left. Wave hands like clouds. Oh yeah, we did that earlier, right? A beautiful movement. Left hand goes up, the left foot steps left, I shift to the left. Right foot steps in as the right hand sweeps up, then I twist to the right. And like so many things in our 24 form, 3 wave hands like clouds. And then I am here with my feet parallel, right hand on top. To prepare for movement 11, I make a little bit a turn to the left corner, to the right corner again. Here is my T-stance, right hand on top, my hook, my bow stance, and another single whip where I reel out with the left hand. And I finish with an empty step change onto the toes, back to a little bit more basic. And I have my left palm float down to pick up an apple, to my left hip, and I turn my hand to offer the apple to the horse, and as it comes, with the right hand, I pat it on the neck. High pat on horse. And then from there, this would be how far we got in the very beginning. So if you want to practice this part, you can just start over from the beginning. But if you want to also practice the second part, movements 13 through 24, we would make a new T-stance on the right foot with the right hand on top. It starts with a bow stance, and we start reeling out with both hands. We gather in the right foot, and here is high knee. I open all three limbs that are in the air, kick. I gather myself in, and here comes the difficult part. I am making a new bow stance, and it is the first time that I am going to a corner. My hands sweep down with the palms, with the fingers tucked into the palm and the thumb wrapped around the Tai Chi fist for box both ears. And here comes one of the hard movements. I do a double weight shift. That was the turning in, rock into the right foot, empty out the left foot, and here comes the kick with the left to the left corner. Our single most difficult movement, snake creeps to grass. Now I got you all scared. My right hand is the hook, left thumb by the right shoulder. I step my left foot back into a lunge, so this is one of the few times where we walk backward. I let my left hand go down to my right knee. I keep my left leg very empty to outward rotate both thighs. So when I sit low, my fingers can crawl to my left knee, snake creeps through grass, and then I need to take all my weight into the left foot to adjust my right, making a new lunge. My hook turns upside down into the back corner. My front hand floats up. I empty out my right leg so that when I scissor my arms, I can also scissor my legs, and the right knee comes to the right elbow with my left hand by my left hip, whee, to help me with the balance. This one is rooster stance on one leg. We do the same thing in the other direction. So here is my T-stance, my left hook, my right hand by the left shoulder. I step back into a lunge, and the snake crawls down the tree. My right foot is very light. I don't want to torque my knee. I make my crouch step, snake creeps through the grass. I empty out my left foot so I can turn towards the left, bow stance. My left hook opens. A right hand snake creeps up the tree. A lunge. And as I scissor my arms and legs, rooster stance on right leg. A little bit of a kind of a quick transition. Here is T-stance on the right, left hand on top, the only time in our 24/4. I make a bow stance. This is a step up. A new T-stance. And another bow stance, again, kind of a little bit offset to the side. And here is Fair lady works shuttles as if I am bouncing a volleyball. I rock back. I make a new T-stance. Finally, I am back in the corner. Right T-stance on the right foot, right hand on top. Here is my bow stance, and fair lady works shuttles to the left. An empty step change onto the toes again, and I reel in with the right hand, with the left hand, so the left hand can be at my left hip, but now with my right hand, I make a spare. Needle at the bottom of the C. I bring it back into a T-stance on the right, right hand on top. It's a little bit difficult because I'm facing you now, but you should actually be facing away from your monitor and then you can't see me anymore. But from here, we have only 2 more movements going this direction. Here is my bow stance. Open hands like a fan. And then I rock back. And I make that double weight shift to get myself into a T-stance on the left, left hand on top. A very quick movement. Here is my bow stance with the right hand in front. Deflect downward with left. I make a fist with my right hand thumb, wrapping around the fingers. I keep my elbow tucked into my side, parry, I rock back, I aim my left hand straight forward, I rock into the right foot, and instead of a T-stance, I make my bow stance right away, left foot in front, and my fist punch. And it goes underneath my left wrist, and then from there I would open my palms, and here is that as if closing, push, a small double weight shift, I step my feet shoulder width apart and cross my hands. Palms turn upward and closing. The left foot steps in, and one more time, sinking the chi. And that was Tai Chi Chuan 24 form, the full form with a lot of talking. I hope you could see me. And now, if you want to, we can do the same 24 form with less instruction and more the beautiful flow that Tai Chi is all about. So I start relatively close to you because we will be moving this direction first. My toes together, my knees soft, my spine straight, connecting to the breath. Breath in, breath out. Preparatory movement, sinking the chi. Form 1, opening form. My first T-stance. Movement 2, parting the horse's mane. Left, right, and left with the empty step change for white crane spreads wings. We reel in left. We reel in right. T stands right hand on top. Movement 4. Brush left, push with right. Rock back. T stands and reel in. Push, brush right, push with left. T stands on the right, right hand on top. And brush left, push right. With the empty step change for play the pipa, the one time we're tapping the heel. And then we step back 3 times with the left foot to repulse monkey with right hand. And 3 times onto the right foot to repulse monkey with left hand. That was 1 on each side. Here is my second. Third one on the left. And third one on the right. One of the 2 most beautiful movements. Grasp the bird's tail. We start with bow stands to the left. That's where we park the feet. Ward off. Grasp the bird. Peacock's tail with the rock back. And we loop with the right hand to press the left palm forward again. Over the waterfall. And 1 more push. And we rock into the right foot to start our clockwise turn. We go to the right. We shift into the left foot. We go on to the right. We sweep the right foot. We sweep the right hand. T stands on the left, left hand on top. Bow stands. Ward off. Grab the bird. Peacock's tail. Loop and press with the left. Over the waterfall. Push. Rock back. And double weight shift to get me back into the right foot. T stands on the right, right hand on top. Make the hook. Make the bow stands. Movement 9, single whip. And we rock back for a small double weight shift to face sideways. And we start reeling out with the right hand. Here would be an embracing the moon, right hand on top, and movement 10. Left hand up, left foot left, right foot in, right hand up. Wave hands like clouds. Again, 3 times. Here is my second of 3. And my third of 3. And I always cheat on that last step in with the right foot. I already make that little bit of a turn to the corner. T stands on the right, right hand on top. And movement 11, single whip. Movement 12, high pat on horse and empty step onto the toes again. Grab the apple. Here, I hold it out for the horse. High pat on horse. Start with the T stance on the right, right hand on top. As I make my bow stance, I start reeling out with the hands, and here is an empty step on the left foot for step up and kick with right. First time I go to the corner, my bow stance, wonky in the corner, my two fists, box both ears. One hard transition, rock left, double weight shift into the right foot, and right away, kick with left. Gather myself in, left thumb by the right shoulder, and the right hand is the hook. And I step back, I crawl down the tree. As I do my crouch stance, I make sure that my left foot was empty so I don't torque my knee. Now I make sure my right foot is empty so I don't torque my knee. From the bow stance, my right hook goes up. Snake crawls up the grass. I take a little kickstand here and scissor my arms and legs, rooster stance on left leg. I make my hook. I step back. Snake crawls down the tree. Light in the back foot. Crouch stance for snake creeps to grass. My little adjustment with the left foot light. The hook. Right snake creeps up the tree. And my scissors for rooster stance on right leg. And from there is that weird transition where I am on the right foot with the left hand on top, which is really the odd one. But only until I have made my step up, the bow stance and step up. Now I am T-stance left hand on top. I make my bow stance, and I scoop, and here is my volleyball. Fair lady works shuttles. I'll rock back just like we do in the beginning. A T-stance, right hand on top, and another fair lady works shuttles. That was 3 bow stances, so here is the empty step onto the toes again, and I reel in right hand first, left hand, and then with my right hand I spare the needle at the bottom of the C. T-stance on the right hand on top, a little breather, bow stance and open hands like a fan, movement number 22, and the double weight shift, my knock knees, to get me back into the left foot in the left front corner, left hand on top. For movement 23, bow stance, deflect downward, fist with the right hand, parry, rock back, aim, and step forward, punch. And the left hand sweeps underneath, rock back for over the waterfall and push. And as we rock back, you can already cross your hands, a small double weight shift, get the feet about shoulder width apart, closing. The left foot steps back to the right foot, and one more time, sinking the chi. And that was Tai Chi Chuan 24 form. I hope you were able to follow along, and maybe I got you all excited about the day that we will reopen. For now, I make my bow Quan Li, and I show you my respect, Shesheni. Thank you.